Well, yesterday was the first night at the job. Back into bartending at a pretty nice little bar slash saloon, which isn't really much of a bar, as more of a restaurant, where families come in with their kids, and it's a good little scene. The thing is, there are definitely some people who come in and they spend hours at the bar drinking beer. Now, I understand like having a beer once in a while, but boy, I think America really loves its alcohol, especially its beer, up here, at least in Idaho. In California, it was typically one beer for every like 10 cocktails, and here I think I served 50 beers and one Moscow Mule. So definitely a different crowd, I suppose. But also everything's alcohol-wise really cheap compared to elsewhere, where draft beers happy hour is $3 and then normal beer hours is $4. So you definitely have the people camping out for a while, getting like 10 of them. Boy, I don't know how they do it. You know, I have one and I'm pretty much buzzed, and two and I'm gone. But I suppose you build up a tolerance if you're an expert at drinking. I suppose it is a good thing though that I don't drink, because last night when I got off, it was only 10 o'clock and I hadn't even gone 5 blocks, like just a couple turns, and get pulled over by a police officer saying I didn't use a turn signal. And so I guess that justifies pulling you over. And then he asked me a bunch of questions, if I had been drinking, and then if I had narcotics or drugs. And then he was pulling up his radio asking if there was a K9 unit available. And I was just like, you know, either this is completely ridiculous or you're just giving me a hard time because I got California plates. And so I just asked him, like, just give me a breathalyzer test so we can move on. But he didn't, and he decided just to have me hang out there for a while. And he did only give me a verbal warning, which he said that was generous of him, because I guess not using a turn signal is a really big deal. And he could have written me a ticket. I don't know how much that ticket would be for, and that would be kind of a ridiculous one. But I suppose that our police force has to justify their existence in the world, here at least. So I feel bad for the people that do drink a lot and then decide to drive home. Hopefully they have better luck than I do. They probably do, because they have Idaho plates. I'm guessing that's why I got more of a hard time. Just to add the caveat, I was in the right-hand turning lane, which is only a turning lane, so maybe that's why I didn't use my blinker, which I should have. Big mistake by me. So when I made yesterday's video, I was feeling a bit down, perhaps, about jobs and wages, because I feel like the new rotation has begun for me, where I had to wake up early and do a couple of airport rides. Started, of course, from Sandpoint to the airport, then Coeur d'Alene to the airport. So I made good money on those. But I had to do those because I was actually going to work at the restaurant. And because I'm on training, you know, I'm only making a minimum wage, so $7 an hour. It might be less because food service, there is no minimum wage. It's like actually $2. So at 7, it's quite the bargain actually. But I was just like, I have to work before work to support the job that I have, because I can't make enough at the job to support myself, so I have to have the other job support the one job. And I know like it's just starting out and like training, and I'm gonna make more, but I'm not really sure how much more, because the tips, are still kind of minimum around here. And I hate to complain all the time. I should be happy to have a job in this market, and like bartending and serving and working in restaurants, it's a real luxury job because you're around other people and it's not like physical labor. You can make it a good time if you really want to. It is stressful and like, at times you want to pull your hair out and you're like, how am I going to get through this certain rush? But it is stressful because it's like Uber, where you're technically working as an entrepreneur and you're taking opportunities as they come, and you're trying to maximize your rides or your tables and tips and all of that. But I mean, just like Uber, working in a restaurant is still based on gratuity, really, and it's hard to see the difference in the two. But there is at least some stability, I think, in having a normal job outside of rideshare, even though I probably could make more money doing that. But that sure did make it a tiring day. Waking up early, doing Uber, then coming back, getting on the paddleboard for an hour and a half, and having just enough time to take a shower and get ready to go to the normal job. So it was 7:30 till about 10 at night. And I didn't eat anything all day, except for a bottle of the kefir yogurt, which kind of kept me going, and some cranberry juice. I have to focus more on the nutrition side, I think, of life. It does feel good though today to only work one job. Going into the restaurant later on today, and that means I've got all morning, I guess, to do what I want. So that means riding my bike so far, 57 miles, 3 hours in, no breakfast, just straight to the bike, just liquid IVs, and hitting the road. I always talk about wanting to figure out nutrition, but I don't really plan that far ahead. I just get up and go.